What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the OwnersBox YouTube channel. Today, a rookie mock draft for you, full 4 rounds. Today, I'll take you through one of my own Dynasty teams in a very interesting situation in this league. I actually was a startup from last year. Jared and I traded our first round picks because we believed in the startup, we believed in our teams. For me, worked out pretty well. Lost in the championship game, so finished second. Jared was, I think, 8th or something like that. So I'm picking up in the first, a few picks earlier, and then a little later in the second, third, and fourth. So I'll give you an idea of what I think on all these picks, how I'm evaluating some of the rookies. But first, let's get into my team and maybe some team needs that I'll have heading into the rookie draft. All right, so as you can see, very veteran-heavy lineup. I'm looking at my team right now. Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan are my 2 quarterbacks, and Davis Mills sitting as the 3rd stringer. So quarterback is an issue for me, especially considering the veterans that I have. Something that might not be too excited about filling this season, but certainly 2023 is a spot where there's really high-level quarterback play. But with 2nd, 3rd round picks, I could look to address the position there. I don't usually use the rookie draft as a time to address team needs. I usually look for the best player available. Especially in those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, you really don't have any guarantee that these guys are going to hit and be fantasy relevant for you. But anyways, running back McCaffrey, Chubb, James Conner, Amara St. Brown was huge for me. I've been trying to deal him. I'm trying to get maybe a back of the 1st, early 2nd pick for him. Still working on that. James Conner I already mentioned. Kelsey at tight end, and then Brandon Cooks, Devontae Smith. And honestly, my bench is a ragtag crew of guys. There's tons of players that I've been having filling in. So Thielen, Robinson, Isaiah McKenzie, Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris is some guys that I've been able to play at least. But in terms of the remaining spots on the roster on the bench, nothing to get too excited about. So let's get into the rookie draft, and I'll show you where I'm picking. Getting into the draft room now, again, like I mentioned, picking at the 104 in the first, 211 in the second, and then a short turnaround to the 3-1, and then wrapping things up with the 411. So again, looking at the back of second, back of third, or early third to address potentially quarterback. And then I really got a chance with Treylon Burks is my number 1 player, or my number 1 receiver and the number 2 player in this class. So hopefully he'll be able to fall for me at the 104 because typically Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall are the guys going in front of him right now. If you guys do want to check out my full rankings, the link for there will be down in the description. But putting out more than just rankings content in terms of Dynasty, so there's some players to avoid, as well as a few other articles for Dynasty Fantasy Football on the OwnersBox blog. So go check that out there. Anyways, let's start this draft and see how things shake out. Again, Breece Hall, really the 101 pretty much across the board, regardless of Superflex or 1 QB leagues. Following that, can go in a few different directions. Kenneth Walker is someone I'm surprised seeing 102 here, and then Drake London at 3. So like I said, makes my life pretty easy. I really like Burks. I think the opportunity's obviously there for him. They see him directly replacing A.J. Brown in the offense. I don't expect Ryan Tannehill's role to change very much. With Derrick Henry back, they're still going to run the ball, prioritize running the ball, but there's still a good opportunity for the wide receiver 1 in this offense to be very fantasy relevant. So Burks is someone I really like as a dominant player that really carried his offense in Arkansas in his final year. Remaining off the board, the wide receiver run is kind of bound to happen. The 6 for me, the 106 for me for Kenny Pickett is definitely a little too early. I'm not comfortable taking a guy within the first 8 to 9 picks that doesn't have upside of being a top 10 fantasy QB. Like a guy like Ryan Tannehill has been a QB1, I believe. What was it, 2020? But I still see, that's what I see Kenny Pickett's ceiling as Ryan Tannehill. So I'm not really willing to invest in him that early. But anyways, throughout the 2nd round, you're going to see guys like Rachaad White, Dameon Pierce, David Bell. Trey McBride this is about the spot I'd expect in that middle of the 2nd. Isaiah Spiller, someone I'm really, really high on. If you guys saw the video earlier in the week, Spiller is someone I'd be taking in the back of the early 2nd. At the earliest, I'd take him back of the 1st. I just think he profiles really well in the offense for the Chargers, especially as a goal line guy. Eckler had a huge year last year, but he's typically hasn't been a very good player and a very good back on the goal line. So Spiller's a 3-down guy, so I'd be excited about being able to get him in the 2nd. Okay, so 211. I'm looking at John Mechie, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce, Jalen Tolbert, Tyler Algier. Those are definitely the 5 that I'd be considering. I do see Matt Corral going pretty early in the second in most drafts, so he'd be someone I'd hope to get, especially with my team needs. Sam Howell is the other one that I think has a chance to play right away this year. I think he has a better chance to play over Desmond Ridder or Malik Willis in year 1. So if I'm desperate enough, it could be something you could do. I'd probably wait till the 3-1. If he's there at the 3-1, I'll take him. But with these remaining picks, Robinson is not someone I'm high on, just undersized. The offense is a bit of a mess in terms of the amount of pass catchers they have. Mechie is, of course, someone I really like. I do have Brandon Cooks, which I don't think is a huge problem. I think Mechie can fill in well in the slot. Alec Pierce, his size paired with Michael Pittman, I just don't see it blending well. I don't see a lot of upside with Pierce in that offense, especially with Jonathan Taylor, of course. And then Jalen Tolbert, I mean, at what point do we see Michael Gallup being ready to play in year 1? Tolbert was really dominant in the Sun Belt for South Alabama. How is that going to translate to the NFL against NFL competition? Up in the air, but high volume passing offense, good opportunity for him. I think Tolbert is a guy I'd rather go to. You know, the concern of having Cooks on my team isn't crazy. You know, I'm not that concerned about it when it comes to Mechie, but with Tolbert here, he's someone I'd probably go to. I'm going to go to with the 211. Coming back, I don't have, Algier was the other one I was considering for that spot as well, just with the veteran backs I have. And there's an opportunity to earn a good role in the offense with the Falcons, but I mean, the offensive line is terrible. I don't really get why this team is just continually avoiding drafting at the offensive line. They spent, I think, the earliest pick they had this year was the 6th. So now the choice is John Mechie, Alec Pierce, and really, I think I'm going Sam Howell here. This is probably the target I'll have in my actual rookie draft, just because I've got a real need at quarterback. So I'm going to go Sam Howell with the 3-1. Brian Robinson is. I've heard Ron Rivera talking about how excited he is for being able to kind of pair Gibson with Robinson. I don't see Robinson translating well to the NFL. He was, in terms of backs coming out of Alabama the last few years, he's for sure been the worst from my opinion. He just doesn't have a lot of tackle breaking ability and vision. There's just not enough there for me to see him translating well to the NFL. Maybe he gets enough opportunity that he's fantasy relevant, but even if he is, I don't see it lasting for very long. One thing I wanted to mention too with Tolbert, 23 years old, so that can keep some people from wanting to take him, but the opportunity kind of outweighs the age there. Okay, last pick. Wan'Dale Robinson's still available. That's surprising and probably something I wouldn't expect to see in your rookie drafts. Maybe it happens. Alec Pierce still available too, and Khalil Shakur with Buffalo. Good opportunity for him there in Buffalo. Honestly, with a 4th round pick, with the 4-11, if Wan'Dale Robinson's available, I probably have to take him here because there's good draft capital invested in him, and who knows what happens with Kadarius Toney over the offseason, so maybe there's a role for him that can be carved out in the slot if something happens to Toney. So I'm going to go Robinson purely because I'm just going to take great value there with the 4-11. Again, that is 4 rounds of your rookie drafts. If you guys have questions or want to talk about a few players, happy to answer them. Again, my rankings are going to be down below in the description. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video as well. Be dropping tons of Dynasty content over the next few weeks for you and getting you ready for the 2022 fantasy football season. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.